Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Hair Loss Show. And we're going to carry on with today's episode, which is another chatting with experts in that series. And I'm incredibly honored to welcome to the Hair Loss Show from Turkey, Dr. Tayfun Oguzoglu. Tayfun is a surgeon. He's been in the industry for over 30 years. He's got a tremendous amount of experience. He practices out of Istanbul in Turkey. He's got a phenomenal practice and is very skilled at what he does. And in this conversation, we go through the important elements of his practice, what the trends that he is seeing, and how he is practicing and competing in what is quite a saturated market in Turkey. So please stick around for this episode.
Welcome to the Hair Loss Show, where Dr. Russell Knudsen and Dr. Vikram Jayaprakash discuss issues relating to hair loss and the medical and surgical treatment of hair loss in both men and women.
Tayfun, how are you?
Very well, thank you. You all okay?
I'm very good, thank you. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me. I'm very honored. I'm very grateful. Dr. Tayfun Oguzoglu from Turkey. You're obviously, I mean, you need no introduction at all. You're so well known in the field of hair restoration surgery. And just to make it even better, you're such a nice guy. You taught so many people. You continue to train so many people. You're a real inspiration in what you do. So first of all, thanks very much for taking the time to speak, because I know you've been busy with surgery today, and so you just come out of theater and just to have a quick chat.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I am very happy to be here.
Oh, thanks. Good.
I can try to answer some questions and explain some therapies for the people.
Yeah, very good. No. Listen, I'm fascinated to hear, how other people do things, how they, interact with their patients, what modalities they use as well. And you and I have talked about this in the past. I mean, just from a little bit of a background side of things, you've been doing hair for quite a while now, isn't it? 20 odd years?
Yes, 27 years now.
Yeah, okay. Almost 30 years. And much like myself, you started with strip and now you've moved 100% to FUE surgery, is it?
Yeah, around 10 years. I did the strip surgery.
Yeah.
Then was start the FUE, but FUE is improved, changing everything. Was 10 or more years. Technique always changing every day. Every day they launches the new equipment, new punches, new equipment for the surgery.
Yeah.
Now, yes, FUE, but the people talk about this is not FUE. They talk about what is your technique is the main question. Sapphire technique or DHI technique or etc. This is not a technique. I explain to people it's not.
Yeah. So I'm interested. I mean, how do you handle that conversation? I mean, because so many times I get that question. Someone will email or someone will come into the clinic and say, "So, what is the difference between what you do and DHI?" Or I'm really looking for someone who can do sapphire technique or the DHI technique. How do you handle that question, or what's your explanation?
Yes, this question is very rare. All people when they searching in the internet, they saw the sapphire blade, DHI, or some other technique, robotic DHI or something. I need maybe 20 minutes or more to explain to people what is the hair transplant, what is the technique, what is FUE. That name is only the equipment. Is not affect your results. If the surgeon Our surgeon team is very well. No need any detailed equipment name. Sometimes we use sapphire blades, sometimes we use DHI or something. It depends on the skin, patient expectation. Sometimes the small area they wants to
Mm.
high density. You don't use the DHI pen.
Yes.
Mostly we use the sapphire blade. I explain and too much for
Yeah.
detailing.
Yeah, no, it's a long conversation. I guess,
Yeah,
Tayfun, the thing that you know I sort of think about, and certainly when we're talking to you, I'm sort of very mindful of someone like yourself who's so experienced and so skilled, and the work that you do is so meticulous and exquisite. And you're practicing at such a high standard. Obviously, the issue is where you are located in Turkey is it's become a hotbed for medical tourism. You've got people from all over the world that are coming there. There's from my understanding, literally a hair transplant clinic on every corner. I guess my
yeah.
question is, how do you compete with that? Well, how do you sort of rise above that and go, right, okay, I'm not going to compete with, everyone that's trying to cut prices. I'm going to maintain the quality of work that I want to deliver. I mean, that must be a big challenge for you.
Yeah, it's impossible to compete them because they have big investors. I mean, the black market clinic, around 1,000 clinic in only Istanbul. They invest too much money to Google marketing. Believe me,
Yes,
every month maybe 100,000 euros or dollars they invest the Google marketing. They give the money for the Premier League team. It's very hard to compete them. They spend too
yes,
much money, and their price is very low
yes,
because their system is every day 50 between 100 cases they need for the keep going the next month because they need the money, but the price is
mm,
very less. They need the uh, around 100 patient. It's impossible. But thanks God, somebody searching only the doctor because they know uh,
yeah,
this is the surgery, this surgery performing with the only doctor.
yes,
Our patient, my patient, is come from the little bit educated side, educated level. They know if they need any surgery, they go to doctors,
yes,
and they reading too much in internet. And mostly I talk to my patient if they wants to come to my clinic, but if we have some question mark, let's say the technique or hair loss or hair diseases, I sent them to dermatologist
yes,
and their own country. Doctors educate them also. You can go to the clinic in Turkey. It's okay, but uh, you make sure your surgery will be done by the doctors.
yes,
But we are only 10 or 15 doctors in Turkey, and we are getting old. I don't know after 10 years what is going on in Turkey because the new
yes,
doctor uh, little bit refused to join the surgery because everybody wants to a little bit make easy money.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's
it's
a
too
big
hard to
challenge.
keep. Challenge is too hard. Sorry.
Yeah, no, no, it's a big problem, and I really feel for you because you're competing with that, and it's obviously you've got these clinics that are operating on a very low price point, and they're getting technicians to do the work, And are you seeing a lot of? I mean, are people coming to you afterwards to do corrective work?
Too much. But believe me, some cases is you can't doing anything because donor is totally destroyed, and the
Yes.
recipient has some growing hair, and the people still think the some magic result because they think you are a good doctor. They pay the high number of the money, let's say the double than the black market,
Yeah.
and they're expecting is the magic. But the first surgery, they destroyed all donor area.
Yeah. No,
How we
it's.
fix it? It's too hard now. I
But I
think,
think
uh, yeah, I
no. I
think the
think we're going
other
to see.
countries, yeah, yeah. The other countries has impact the black market power. I know UK, I know Spain, I know some maybe Italian area. They are using technicians. All
Yes.
South America is also
Oh, look, it's
impacted.
happening everywhere. It's not a by no means is it particular to any one part of the world. I mean, we've got clinics here in Australia that are run just by
Yeah,
technicians as
I
well.
think.
And so I don't think this is a problem or certainly an issue that is specific, geographically specific. I think it's happening everywhere in the world. I mean, look, I think, and like I said, I think we're going to see a lot more of it, which sort of leads me, to believe that okay, we really need to be able to focus on other therapies and other modalities and sort of impact, sort of
Yeah,
mix that in with what we're doing.
okay.
You've obviously been in the industry a long time. What are you, in your practice, what are the key things, non-surgical things that you have incorporated into your practice that you're seeing really good results with, that you use regularly or even sort of on a case-by-case basis?
Yeah, I mixed mostly PRP, but
Yeah.
why? Because the
Mm.
people, the patient I mean, think about if we inject the PRP,
Mm.
result will be magic. I use the PRP not to the magic result. I use the PRP for the fast healing
Right.
because the PRP very helpful the healing process, and the itchy or some crusty will be less if we use the good PRP, real PRP. The other hand, I use the Regenera Activa therapy for hair loss, especially the woman. They are very good choices for the woman hair loss.
Yes.
But woman hair loss problem, the people wants to directly therapies. I have some hair loss. Please do that, do that, do that. But the woman needs very good blood test result. We
Yeah.
should see what is going on very bad because sometimes they have anemia, but they don't
Yes.
care. But they have hundreds, they lose hundreds hair.
Yeah.
After that, my first choice is Regenera therapy, and now last 6 months I start using exosome.
Right.
Exosome is quite interesting therapy,
Mm.
uh, and pending the FDA approval,
Yes.
but uh, some diseases, not especially hair, they use the exosome, and I mean the neurologic diseases. They have very good results. I use some patient see the good result,
Yeah.
and Turkish government, yes, Turkish government gave the some approved because
Yeah.
we have two laboratory in Turkey. They produce the
Yeah.
exosome,
Okay.
and we will start a good white paper, organized a good white paper, multi-centric therapies, and I think it's the good choice. The next future for next future.
Yeah, I think I've seen a lot of the data. The data looks really good. Obviously there's the uncertainty about the FDA approval and the source, etc. There's certain question marks about it, but technically speaking, there's or sort of from a scientific perspective, it makes a lot of sense. It looks to be really good. But Tayfun, I want to take you back a little bit because you said so much, and it was so interesting, and I want to make sure that I don't forget, and we cover that. So you talked about PRP first of all, and you said it's really good for healing. Are you using it in the donor area or the recipient area or both?
Both.
Right.
My technique is the premade slit technique. First step, I open the incision.
Yeah.
Then extraction.
Yeah.
Before start implantation, I inject recipient and the donor area, PRP. Okay.
Before you start the extraction.
Sorry.
So you inject the PRP before you start the extraction, or after?
Implantation.
Before you start the implantation. I beg your pardon. Okay, into the recipient area. Yeah.
Before the last part.
Yeah.
And they little bit reduce the bleeding also, I think. This is my experience. And I use the good PRP because the many clinic, they use the laboratory kits. It's not real PRP. And we have good kits in Turkey. They produced in here.
Yeah.
I am very successful with PRP.
Okay. And the difference that you've seen with using the PRP, is it sort of faster regrowth, or do you think less shedding?
Not about the less shedding.
Yeah.
Shedding sometimes is less, but I think not about for the PRP. Yeah. But the first healing is very important for me because my patient come from very far away.
Yes.
Okay. They stay here 3-4 days. After 3-4 days, healing is acceptable because they need the long flight or something.
Yeah.
For that, I use regularly PRP in the surgery.
I mean, if you've got someone who's not a surgical patient, who's just a medical patient, are you doing a lot of PRP with them?
Yes.
You are.
I mixed the Regenera with PRP the same time. I mixed that and injected. Especially women's hair loss is the good result. But the men type hair loss need some extra therapies. Maybe I combine the PRP with mesotherapy, but not same session. First of all, 3 session PRP, then 5-6 session mesotherapy. I use it for men.
What do you do? What are you injecting with the mesotherapy?
The first start every 3 weeks, 3 session PRP.
Okay.
Then wait 1 week, start mesotherapy.
Right.
Every 1 week, 1 session. Let's say 5-6 session more. Let's say 10 session treatment, PRP and mesotherapy.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And so
and I use the finasteride ampoule.
Yes.
I find from Spain and Argentina. It's very, very helpful. But it's
for
not,
mesotherapy.
Yes, for mesotherapy, it's very good result for men especially.
Have you tried much with the dutasteride mesotherapy?
Yeah, I want, but we don't have the ampoule. But I am searching. If I find somewhere, I will try because I believe dutasteride looks like. The side effect is higher than the finasteride.
Yes.
But the reality is not same. I have some patient, they use the dutasteride and they said no any side effect. Because we know
I've had that as well.
Yeah, dutasteride is more side effect, but it looks okay.
Yeah, I've had a few patients that cannot tolerate finasteride, but for some reason you switch them to dutasteride, and
Yeah,
they're okay. Whether or not that's
yeah,
a nocebo effect, or
yeah,
just it may well be a pharmaco kinetic or dynamic effect as well. Um, so that remains to be seen. But I've heard, I've seen the studies, and I know people I've spoken to. I spoke to Dr. Alex Gonzalez from Mexico.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
Alex is using a lot of dutasteride.
Dutasteride.
Yeah, and so I mean, he gets his from Argentina, but he was saying that he's seen some really good results, both in men and women.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want to try also the woman.
Yes,
Yeah,
um, but yeah, and then Tayfun, I want to ask you about that about Regenera,
yeah.
and how the results that you're seeing with that, and what are your thoughts on Regenera?
It's not magic therapy,
Yeah.
but it's good choice for the. Sometimes patient wants to only single therapy a year or 2 years,
Yes.
especially the woman hair loss. I use maybe more than 100 patient.
Mm,
Uh, Half of that is very happy. Is very happy.
right.
Uh, but let's say 25-30% is happy, but they need little bit thicker
Yes.
because the woman wants to thick hair, dense hair. But I give them to some iron therapy, some zinc therapy. They need because they need some extra therapies.
Mm,
But around 20% is not good effect because they have some hormone imbalance.
yeah.
They need the extra therapy, but it's good, especially the patient wants the single shot. They want the single therapy, 1 or 2
Yes.
years, no more. But this is the complicated therapy. You need Regenera plus maybe PRP, maybe plus mesotherapy,
Mm,
because the hair loss therapy is very complicated, I think.
yeah. Do you worry about? I mean, one of the things when I was doing, and I don't do much of it right now. I mean, I'll have to have a look at it again. But one of the things that did concern me was that you're taking those 4 millimeter punch. Uh,
Yeah.
how much of the donor area are you sort of encroaching on potentially for if you were going to come back and perform a hair transplant in the future? If you'd done the therapy, say 3 or 4 times, how much of the donor area are you potentially using if you're covering a reasonably large area on the scalp?
Hmm. Uh, my technique, I don't prefer to use 4 millimeter. I use 2 millimeter punches
Was that all?
and take 6 punches. I
Oh,
think
okay.
it's cool because the 4 millimeter sometimes left the scar.
Yeah,
Because the
absolutely.
company wants to use it's very near of the
Yeah.
donor area. The people scaring the left the scar. For that, I
Mm,
use 2 millimeters and little bit higher than this border and
yes.
take 6 punches. Not
Why
use
are
the
they
bigger
choosing
one.
this area? What was I didn't understand why they were sort of.
They have many research. They said this some like stem cells more here,
Right.
not here. And
Okay.
they said the vascularization is better for the back of the ear. I don't know because they are scientific people. They are professor. They said use here. Okay, we
Yeah.
use here because we know the donor area everywhere is almost same, but
Yes.
the
Yeah.
especially ones to use here. Okay,
Yeah.
I use here.
Fantastic. I mean, just going, and then migrating back to your work in hair transplant. What are the big changes that you've made in your practice over the last 5 years? I know you're doing long hair FUE now and a lot of body
Yeah.
hair FUE.
The mostly changing is the technology.
Yeah.
Technology is very good support now, because I think maybe 10 years, then 10 years wants to take the long care, but not possible because the technology is not possible to use good punches. But last 5 years, uh, I take some good technology, Dr. Umar
Yes.
punches and equipments. It's it's very easy to take long care.
Yes.
Everything is changed every day, but the technology is very fast than us.
Yes. It's changing a lot, and I remember when we were in Panama, I saw you were doing the live workshop, and watching you do that as well was just phenomenal. It was an absolute treat to see you at work. And so look, I know you're very busy, and I want to be respectful of your time, but I really want to thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for giving me you really honor me with your time, and learning from you, and learning how you work through your practice. That's been a real pleasure. So thank you very much for that.
Very
Taste.
welcome. Very welcome.
I'm very grateful, and so I know you've got a clinic in Istanbul, and also you're in Cyprus as well. Is that right?
Yes, yes. Because I'm
Oh,
Cypriot, I
yes,
have the small clinic in Cyprus,
yes.
and I want to maybe a couple of years later we'll move to only Cyprus, my
Okay, fair enough.
homeland, and the rest.
Oh no,
This is
good,
my
good, good.
plan.
So, if anyone wants to come and see you, they can find you in Turkey. You're drthair.com. I'll put the
Yeah,
link in the description.
thank you.
You are an absolute gentleman, and you're a phenomenal surgeon. And I'm
Thank
very
you.
honored to call you my friend as well. So, thank you very much for your time. Like I said, I'm very grateful, and I will see you soon.
See you soon. Thank you very much again. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.